Hey everyone, let's dive right into this explainer. When you think about air pollution, you're probably picturing, giant exhaust pipes and smoggy smokestacks, right? Well, today, we're looking at a totally different and honestly surprising reality: agriculture. We're going to look at exactly how to transform agricultural air quality monitoring from just some basic passive sensor reading into an absolutely essential, proactive risk management plan. And this is especially crucial for two groups that often, frankly, find themselves bumping heads: livestock farms on one side and surrounding municipalities and cities on the other. So we're going to explore how modern tech can actually bridge that gap, turning all that environmental tension into manageable, actionable data.
To set the stakes for you right out of the gate, the sheer scale of agricultural emissions is massive. Just to put it into perspective, a 2016 study from the Columbia Climate School revealed a pretty staggering fact. Emissions from farms actually outweigh all other human sources of fine particulate air pollution in many major global regions, like the US, Europe, Russia, and China. No way, right? But it's true. This isn't just some niche backburner issue. It's an absolutely critical, undeniable priority for both global public health and local urban planning.
All right, to see how we actually tackle this, here's our roadmap for today. First, the invisible threat. Then, risks for farm and city. Third, we'll dive into the AAVOS Risk Management Plan. Fourth, from sensors to AI insights. Fifth, proven global results. And finally, proactive compliance starts here.
Okay, moving right into Section 1, the invisible threat.
The actual chemical cocktail involved in agriculture is pretty staggering. Livestock facilities, they don't just emit one single type of gas. They're releasing a highly complex mix of pollutants all at once. We're talking about harsh irritants like ammonia and hydrogen sulfide, powerful greenhouse gases like methane and nitrous oxide, plus carbon dioxide, particulate matter, volatile organic compounds, and even nitric oxide and ozone. It's a lot. You can't just slap a basic smoke detector out in a field and call it a day, right? This kind of environment demands simultaneous, rigorous, and highly specialized monitoring across this entire spectrum of invisible threats.
Which brings us to Section 2, risks for farm and city.
So we're really dealing with a severe dual risk here. On the inside, farms are facing major indoor health hazards. High concentrations of these contaminants directly threaten worker safety, and honestly, they drastically reduce livestock productivity. Animals get sick, workers are put in danger, and the farm essentially loses money. But as those pollutants inevitably drift across the property line, they hit the neighboring municipalities. And that's what triggers those escalating nuisance complaints, odor disputes, and just a ton of friction between agricultural operations and city communities. It's totally a shared problem, which means it requires a shared, objective solution.
And, well, what exactly happens when farms and cities clash over air quality? Unaddressed pollution inevitably brings government intervention. The regulatory pressure mounts, and without objective data on their side, farms are completely vulnerable. Having proactive monitoring isn't just about being a quote-unquote good neighbor anymore. It's literally your only shield against costly, crippling fines and forced regulatory shutdowns. Bottom line, if you aren't tracking your own air, the government eventually will. Let's look at the solution in Section 3, the AAVOS Risk Management Plan.
Now, instead of just running through a list of gadgets, I want you to look at how this comprehensive strategy acts as a complete, multi-layered shield. First up, you've got the indoor and perimeter stationary equipment. That's the AQmini and CTmini. Think of these as your 24/7 sentinels, protecting workers and guarding the property line. Then, you layer in the CTair, which acts as a wireless sensor network analyzer. But here's where it gets really cool. The aerial patrol using DR-2000 drones for sampling those hard-to-reach places in the atmosphere, alongside mobile patrols using the TR-8 Plus and SM-100i for on-the-ground multi-sensor tracking and field olfactometry. This isn't just taking a random reading. This is throwing an invisible 360-degree net over an entire agricultural operation so absolutely nothing escapes unmeasured.
Okay, on to Section 4, from sensors to AI insights.
Enter SIMS 3. This software is basically the brain of the entire risk management plan. Let's say a municipality gets an odor complaint from a resident living near a farm. SIMS 3 automatically receives, analyzes, and legally classifies that single community complaint in real time. If it's justified, the system identifies the emission source and prompts you to take corrective action. If it's pending, it gets flagged for further analysis and triangulation. But the absolute game changer happens when a complaint is not justified. If the data proves the farm wasn't actually emitting at that time, the system securely archives that data. That gives the farm rock-solid regulatory evidence to defend themselves against false claims.
So how does it actually determine those classifications? Well, it relies on this amazing AI-driven event triangulation. By mixing ambient monitoring data with advanced back trajectory analysis, the system literally tracks the wind and the gas in reverse. It proves exactly where an unknown odor came from. No more guessing games, no more of that frustrating he said, she said dynamic between farms and city residents. It gives both municipalities and farmers undeniable, admissible legal evidence.
But listen, beyond just the hardware and the software, a true risk management plan really requires deep expertise. AAVOS backs up their tech with complete emission inventory services. We're talking boots-on-the-ground environmental impact assessments with qualified teams, complex atmospheric dispersion modeling using the US EPA-approved AirMod system, strict laboratory odor analysis that meets international standards, and direct aerial sampling via drones. They handle the whole shebang. This creates a completely bulletproof compliance picture for you. So when the regulators do come knocking, you've got a scientifically sound, comprehensive report ready to go.
Let's look at Section 5, Proven Global Results.
This isn't just theoretical either. Deployed in over 20 countries and backed by ISO 9001 certification, this tech is actively managing complex environmental relationships all over the world right now. From odor management and field inspections in the Peel region in Metro Vancouver up in Canada to emission inventory reporting in Chicago. They're even doing complete plant audits and dispersion modeling at major facilities in the Middle East, plus regulator training for higher water in Oman. Huge municipalities and major agricultural operators literally rely on this exact framework to keep the peace and ensure compliance every single day.
Finally, Section 6, Proactive Compliance starts here.
The biggest takeaway from this explainer is that piecemeal solutions, they just don't cut it anymore. With the AAVOS Advantage, you're getting a true end-to-end solution. You get the stationary hardware, the lab services, and this incredible AI-powered platform running 24/7. Whether you're running a livestock farm or managing a city, adopting this globally proven tech builds an absolutely essential risk management plan. It ensures you never walk into a government intervention or a tense community town hall unprepared. You're shifting from vulnerable to totally proactive.
So I want to leave you with this thought as we wrap up this explainer. Take a hard look at your current operations. Are you still just reacting to complaints as they roll in, scrambling to figure out what went wrong? Or are you finally ready to implement a system that proactively prevents them, proving your compliance before the phone even rings? The tech to take absolute control of your environment is here today. The only question is, when are you going to use it?